live. All right, I believe we are live. I am so excited to be coming to you guys right now in our group. One of the things I really want to start doing is to have a weekly sort of, I think I call it snack and learn. I had my cheese and cracker snack here a minute ago, and bring on the folks from our group who have stories to tell and opportunities to offer and those kind of things, so we can start to gel more as a community and really keep on helping each other out as we keep a focus on taking advantage of our own cash flows and understanding them, and knowing that this is a place where there's no judgment around cash stories, around finance, around bookkeeping, around any of that. We're all entrepreneurs here, and we've all had our struggles and wins around all the different components of our businesses. So we're going to talk today to my friend Dan Tait Brown, who is on a balcony in Toronto, just waiting anxiously to talk to everybody. He's going to tell us a little bit about his story, and we're going to ask him some questions. And then he's got an amazing offer for everybody at the end of this, actually, to help us all out. And I know I'm going to take advantage of it. So Dan helps purpose-driven business owners, I think everybody in here falls into that category, and personal brands make our leads salivate with online video, even if they hate being on camera, don't know what to say, and may have never made a video before. So we all know that video is the thing that catches people's attention in this madness right now of content that's pouring out on the internet. And this man here is the one to help us up our game on that. So Dan, welcome.
Hello, Pam. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. I'm thrilled. And first and foremost, I'd love to know how you kind of got to where you are, the video expert that's helping people really transform that game. I'm really
Here comes the truck from downtown Toronto. Thank you, Pam.
Be ready for the Toronto trucks every now and then.
Yes, reporting live. How did I get here? You know, this is an idea that I've had for quite a long time, and I consider myself, someone who has a lot of different passions and is pulled in very many different areas. And fortunately, the silver lining of COVID is a lot of options were, temporarily cut off for the time being. And I was like, okay, having a purpose-driven online business around my dream and skill is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So I decided to really, take a crack at this. And, what keeps me up at night is I feel like there are people who are really sharing their skills and really, making a difference to people, but they're hidden, or they don't have, they're not putting themselves out there. And I've talked to many people who I feel like there's kind of two problems that I see. One is around the mindset stuff, around visibility, like being willing to, whether it's a live video or you're just like reaching out to someone to introduce yourself to talk about what you do or make a connection. And the idea of putting yourself out there. And then the other piece is the marketing strategy part, especially around video. And, I got to say, I love video. I love talking. And, if I could make a living doing this, I'm willing to build an entire business around it so I can do.
Well, I sure picked the right guy to be my first guest then.
Yeah. Yes. And, I got to say, we talked about this before, but I was so blown away by your, what you're doing in this group with introducing people and taking the time to go look at what they're doing. I've been telling people about it. I'm so blown away that you took the time to do that. So I just want to say that's super cool. And I can tell you have a great community here. So thank you for this.
Oh, sure thing. Yeah, it's funny. The thing I love about what I do anyway, I'm kind of like the anti-accountant, I guess, is the relationships are much more fun to me than the number crunching. So since I realized all of a sudden that's what I do in my business, why not do that in this group as well? Because everything else falls out of that, right? I mean, you're probably finding this with what you're doing as well. The video making is important. Yes, it's important to get that right and to help people. And you've got a drive to do that because you can see such an opportunity out there for improvement. But it's all about getting one-on-one with them or in a group and really having that interaction. And I know COVID, right? It's taken us away from all those in-person opportunities. And yet I think it's opening up stuff like this. It's opening our eyes to say, how can we make what's online more meaningful? And that's why I love kind of what you talk about here, because it's so important. And I'm going to also watch the comments here as well and see what we've got. Our Brenda has said, I think I can show this. has said, keeping skills and talents hidden or playing small is the curse of the entrepreneurs. Program.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that, Brenda. That's brilliant. Brenda's another great friend of mine, and we do a lot of work together. And it's, she's also in the numbers game, and knows that it's so much more than that. So tell me a little bit about how you are working with people now to help get them to where they need to be on this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best way to ask it.
So I am starting new, like zero, sub-zero, from pure passion and working with people, right? So I feel like, I got to say, I'm not here to position myself, with all these accolades or, credentials. I love this. I learn a lot about it. And it's something that I'm doing on my own. Even I'm doing like a daily live show just to experiment with what I can learn and share back with people. So I have decided, because I've stayed, I think, too long in the kind of chicken and egg syndrome of like, do I learn stuff and then work with people? And then, so I am working on coming up with a mini course that's around coming up with a year's worth of video content within an hour.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I have always wanted to do something like that. So it's something that I'm designing right now and working through. And in order to kind of build momentum around it, I'm at a stage where I want to be working with people to get them, results and to get me confidence as well as testimonials. So my big objective right now, my main kind of campaign is doing 100 free video content reviews. So I've started to do that at different Facebook groups like your own. And
hello, people. Did you catch that? Let me emphasize what he just said. And I'm first in line because it's my Facebook group. But he's going to do content and video reviews for free. Okay, there's a no catch here, folks. This is for free because we're helping him get the content he needs, the testimonials he needs, et cetera, to build out this program a little further down the road. So we are catching Dan right at the beginning. And if you know me and you know about working with founders, I believe so much in it because you get a lot of special care that once I get my hands on you and we start taking your business from trading time for money I have to put this up here because it happens to be my sister. She's second.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, you're second.
Take the numbers in the ticker.
But what happens in working with founders, one of my main objectives in working with people is to get you away from trading time for money and into a leverageable business model. Well, we're catching you where we get your time because you're not even trading time for money. You're just trading time
for love
and experience. And it's our major opportunity here. I tell you what, Dan, they're clicking in at a mile a minute here saying, I want to be in, I want to be in, I want to be in. So we will tell you all at the end of this exactly how to get in on getting some feedback from Dan behind the first and second, apparently. But that I love that. I love that. And number one, I really love your transparency about it. Saying, hey, this is where I am. We have so much going on out there, and I'm sure you see this, where people put themselves on a jetway next to a shiny jet or a Lamborghini or whatever, and when you peel the onion back, there's nothing there. And what you're saying is, I've got a lot here, and you're gonna. Whoa!
Really close here. I'm gonna keep my finger on the mute. Speaking of next, that was my private jet that was just landing.
Perfect timing.
So sorry. Okay.
Perfect timing.
I'm a multi-trillionaire. Okay. I'll keep my finger on the mute so I know when that happens next. I apologize.
That is so cool. Well, we have, a couple people commenting, as you can see, and Evelyn's going to come back a little bit later and she'll watch the recording and be able to see what we can do. But while we've got you here, I'm going to take advantage of it and ask you to give us just like 1 or 2 or 3 things we can think about ahead of time, 5 if you want, because apparently there's a lot of interest in definitely doing this.
Cool. And thank you for everything that you said. I really value just authenticity, and it's and that's a principle that I believe you can use in your communication and your marketing and on video to talk from the heart about what you do. I don't believe you need to be someone you're not. I don't believe that you need to have a studio. If at some point that makes sense for you, sure. But you don't need to become someone else for the sake of speaking to your people. So I have 3 pillars that I'd love to touch on today that are 3 kind of buckets and layers that we can get into, and each comes with its own principle to remember that you can kind of let sink in, and then it comes with a really specific action-oriented thing that you can implement today.
I'm taking notes.
Get ready. Let's do this. Okay. So number 1, I want to start with mindset. So this goes back to the visibility part, where it can be like, how many, and I get this for myself, like the voices that come up when you go to hit record on your camera, when you go to do a live, when you go to do a story, and there's like all of this resistance that comes to it, right? And the mindset part is so important, not just for video, but for being willing to put yourself out there. And the core principle that I want people to think about and remember is that it's not about you. And that can be so much easier said than done if you're thinking about, especially, it's one thing when you're speaking on stage, but when you're looking at the camera, you're like, the lighting's in your face and your hair's like this, and maybe you don't look how you want to look. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. But this is the thing I would like people to go back to, is the more you can think about who you're helping and other people, the less you're focused on yourself and the more easy this all comes. Keep that in mind. So the specific thing that you can do if you're making a video to somebody to implement this is imagine that you're making your video just to one person. So right now, for example, we're recording this, and people are live or people are watching it, and there's like a lot of people, and I could get in my head about it. But the truth is, we have already met one-on-one on camera, and if we had a conversation in person, we'd be speaking that way. And it's maybe it's easier said than done, but the truth is there's no such thing as a crowd or an audience, I believe. It's just individuals who are listening, especially at this time. People are on their phone, they're on their laptop, they're just listening to you. And one of my favorite books is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he talks about how he wrote that book, I believe, for 2 of his closest friends. So I think this principle you can take into your email marketing, anything that any form of communication, is just imagine that you're doing it to a friend or to one person, and focus on how you can help them. And
what's interesting about that, Dan, is in today's world, because we are all talking on Zoom now, we're getting used to talking into a camera in a one-on-one conversation. Yes. So one of the things people can do is trigger back to just pretend you're on a Zoom call.
Totally.
Yeah, great input. Totally. Okay, love principle 1.
I'm ready for the next one. Cool. Let's get into the second pillar, which is the tech side of it. Like, what are the specific things that you need to have set up so that you can make your videos shine and stand out? And if you are just starting, and I have to say, probably for a very long time, I'm actually for the sake of StreamYard, I'm on my laptop right now, but this is enough to complete your video studio. So my smartphone is enough is principle number 2, and feel free to write my smartphone is enough if you're watching this in the comments. You do not need, a ring light is great. If you can get to in front of a window, the microphone that comes in with your phone, with a tripod in front of a lighting source and some kind of nice framing is perfectly great to start. You don't need to invest up front in a studio. And the number 1 takeaway that I would love people to think is this. So if you are familiar with turning on your smartphone or your camera, and then suddenly you're trying to record, but you're also like looking at your face. Number 1, also, I think, quick side tip, if you're in an interview like this, it's perfectly great to, like right now I'm looking at you on my screen, but if I was making a video just by myself, I would probably be looking at the camera here and I would be kind of speaking this way. But because we're in an interview, it's a little bit weird. So my number 1 tip is, if you have a ring light or a tripod stand, take your phone, which it's nice to have the screen so you can see like kind of where your framing is, but it's easy to get distracted, right? So get ready for this one. I want you to take a Post-it note and just once the framing is right, just cover up your face with the Post-it note with the bullet points of what you would like to say. So that goes twofold.
Brilliant.
You don't have to worry about looking at yourself, because it's so easy to want to be focused on your appearance. Your ego is going to be there at some point. The second thing is, in general, speaking with bullet points is perfect. As long as you hit the gist of what you want to say, it does not need to be scripted. I mean, if you're recording a YouTube video, or if you're doing a tutorial and it's really technical, or you're giving someone instructions, you might need to script it. But Post-it note, on your phone so that it covers yourself up. There's also an app that I love called Nano Teleprompter, so you can kind of you can actually make it scroll on your screen as you're recording yourself, and you can actually squish the text over to the camera so that your eye line doesn't look. Because sometimes what happens is we'll be, speaking, and then you want to like look down at the notes, so that can feel weird. So the closer you can make your notes or your bullet points to the camera itself, the more kind of seamless it feels.
So I'm going to drop, did I do this name right? Is it Nano Teleprompter like that?
Yeah. I believe that one's for Android only. If I know of an iPhone one, I'll comment with it, but that's
okay,
the app.
cool.
Totally.
Cool. We'll find one for iPhone too. That's great. Wow. That's only 2 of how many pillars are you getting today?
One more pillar today.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. In terms of your content, so what do I actually say? What do I actually talk about? You could talk about anything, right? You can talk about yourself. You can talk about people. The third principle is your content comes from your clients. So you don't need to sit back and ponder up all of these possible content ideas, which at some point you can. But if you just want to start on what do I say, I think you wrote this in your own group. This own group here is I'll be going live with questions that have come up throughout the week. So that's perfect. Like just the people that you're speaking with, the people that you're engaging with, if you start to see something come up over and over again, you can start to give people a little bit of a dose of an answer to something that of course is somewhere related to what you're doing and is a natural kind of lead into your opt-in or your main offer. So the main takeaway that you can do is if you have a group or some kind of community, or you're even just speaking to people one-on-one throughout the week, take the common theme that has come up and make just a live video with that topic of that question. And the kind of the format that I suggest to do that is, especially with live video, Facebook really prefers when there is engagement right off the hop. So my suggestion is to, when you start the video, do not say, I'm just waiting for people to come on. Like the beginning of the video is really your opportunity to hook people. So you don't even need to really introduce yourself. You just want to get into like, what is the core of what you'll be talking about, kind of tease that out. You can introduce yourself really quickly and then get right into the top 3 list or whatever that you're talking about. So if you're just starting to make a live video that way, your content comes from your clients and you can make a weekly live stream video from that.
I love that. And I'm gonna pop a question up here also that's not related to that, and then we'll circle back. Brenda's asking if you know of a teleprompter app that you could recommend for PC.
Brenda, let me get back to you. I've used one before. There's this amazing technology that I've used that specifically for PC. It is paid and it hears you so that it moves with your speed. So rather than pressing a speed.
Oh, I love that.
You can kind of talk and then you can pause when you want, and the text will stop with you, and then you can keep going and it'll float up. And it's like, I've used this for auditions before, and it's like a complete hack
awesome.
of a tip. So I'm going to find the name of that, and I will
love it. We'll add it to the group here. That's great. And the other thing I'll tell you is a lot of us now have brands that incorporate, because we have gotten to the place in this world, thank goodness, not corporate like it used to be, but where our brand is actually our personality. We are who we are at home. We are who we are in the business. And, part of that, I'll just give you an example. People know my dogs are a thing, right? They're just a thing. So I'll do videos with them and about them. They know I have a daughter in college. I'll do videos about her. Things and topics of the day, things that just come up and make you go, Mm-hmm. I'll make a note of those sometimes and just say, oh yeah, that's right. That would make a good video. And the more you make a practice of recognizing that the day-to-day stories are what we're all dealing with, and if you have a good idea around one of those, people love that stuff. Just like we've just picked up now, I know 3 things I'm going to do specifically after this call, besides take advantage of your amazing offer. And that's the kind of stuff you can just get on and do a 3-minute video. And people will pick up on that stuff. So that's amazing. This was gold, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this and unpack it. This is amazing. When you were acting, is it TV, movie, or stage?
I've done a little bit of all of it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you miss it? Like, are you like with COVID? So we know a lot of folks in the arts who just haven't been able to perform.
Yeah.
and it's just heart-wrenching to them. So how are you dealing with that?
It's definitely hard. Like I'm from Windsor, and I moved to downtown Toronto, the big city, to pursue acting and entertainment like a year ago or so. And I was here for all of like 5 months. And, I got to say, and even over the summer, actually, some of the productions are slowly starting to open back up, and that's been really exciting. So yeah, I definitely miss it. And it's disheartening. And there are a lot of creative people who on one hand are expressing it in a different way.
Right.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited to get back into it. And I am choosing to see this as, because actually something I was struggling with was being pulled in too many directions. Like I want to be a TV host and an actor and start a business. And it was like, hey, too much swirling around. So for kind of the first time, I've had, accidentally gone full-time freelancing during COVID. And now I'm like, hey, I've always had this idea about starting an online business. Especially in social media and online business, video is so big. I love this. I feel like there's opportunity to help people. So fantastic. I am willing. And I got to say, if I could just leave people with this, like the number one thing I feel around this is like the world is at least to me feels so much up in the air. So psychologically, what that has done for me is make me kind of unafraid to fail. Cause I really feel like everything is so on its head in every way that if I take this direction for a full year and it doesn't work out at all, like it's like I'm really glad I tried. You know what I mean? And I don't think anyone is really watching, because not that they ever are, but we are, people are so focused on ourselves, honestly. And if you want to try something new, I really believe this is the time.
Yeah. Look, so you got somebody who mentioned this reminds them of their own story. It's amazing. And there are a lot of creatives doing this, and it's really kind of fun to watch. And as huge proponent of the arts, that's another thing that's part of my personality. That's one of those things we'll encourage any way we can. And folks, artists in this group, I know we have a lot of singers, we have a lot of composers. Take Dan up on this. There is stuff you can be doing out in the social media world, on the internet. And I'm betting money he would share other ideas with you besides just how to improve your video work. So make a connection with him here in the group. Connect with each other, hit him with questions, that kind of thing. That's why we're all here, because we're all struggling in the same thing together, and watching each other succeed and helping each other succeed. That's the game. That's the game. And I'm so excited you are here with us today, Dan, to kick off this. This is a best kickoff for this series I ever could have wished for. Tell us a little bit about how we can have people take advantage of this amazing offer you've made. And I'm going to type it as you go. Okay. And I'll put it in the front of this as well.
Amazing. So really quick to the point, I am doing 100 free video content makeovers, we'll call them. And in order to participate, I would love for you to drop a link in a comment to this post within the Profit Concierge group. Just leave a comment with your link of something that you have already. Is option. I'm going to give a couple options because people might be at different stages. If you have a link to something already, drop that. If you have a video or maybe a pitch that you're working on, you want to upload a video as a comment on this post, do that. Third option, if you are absolutely nervous and prefer not to share it in a group, which I don't know why, because Pam makes sure that this group is so safe and non-judgmental. You can send me a direct message. I'd love to do that. But for the purpose of this campaign, I'd love for you to upload or drop a link to your video content in this thread of this interview, and I will reply with my feedback as a reply. So until I hit 100. So help me get there.
How many do you have under your belt so far?
I just started, so about 5.
Excellent. All right, guys, we got 95. Go tell your friends.
Yes.
All right, Dan, I cannot thank you enough. This has been a joy. I've got hair. The hair's up on the back of my neck. This was so much fun.
Thank you for doing this. This is it sounds so small, but just the act of you reaching out to me to connect and coming to this group, I felt like I was coming off the red carpet with your introduction. So thank you for making it special. Thank you for.
Well, you are clearly. So
thanks so much. Keep doing what you do, and this has been incredible.
Awesome. All right, folks, we're going to sign off of Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other places right now, but be sure and take Dan up on this offer. And this video is also over on my YouTube channel, so you can catch it there as well and put comments in there. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll see you next week. I'll see you before that, but we'll see you next week with the next snack and chat. Take care.